What happened? Okay, there we go. Okay. For a second, I'm like, the thing is it's all goofy. Okay. Dude.
I didn't want to. If this works, all right. Now we got to get somebody on. Let me text.
Round two. All right, I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna share it out again and just say that we're idiots. Well, we don't have to tell them why we're idiots, do we? Oh, I just lost you, I think.
No, I was just texting. All of a sudden, when I turned it off, and I'm like, "Oh my God, we've been talking on the phone." That is embarrassing. All right, I texted Joe. I texted Eric. We're live. Round two. I called it round two. Let's see if it comes on. One watching now. Started streaming 1 minute ago. All right, come on. We need somebody.
Okay, so welcome to Judging Bouncing Balls. Toby, we have had quite the evening.
What time is it?
It's 9:00 only, which is amazing. Okay. We've been messing around for the last hour trying to figure out how to do a live stream. Supposedly, through the way we do our podcast, we can do a live stream. None of it worked, so we wasted probably at least a half an hour on that. Then we decided to join through YouTube Live, right? And so now that's where we're at. Want to tell them maybe why nobody could hear us?
Well, so when we got off of the Riverside app, which we use for our podcast, I called you and I went on speakerphone because I figured we better talk. And then I did the link.
Right.
And then we did the show for about a half hour, 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. And we're like, all right, let's cancel. And then when I canceled, I noticed we've been on speakerphone talking to each other. Not YouTube. That is embarrassing.
So that's why we could hear each other, but nobody could hear us. We were literally on the phone with each other the entire
time. Oh my Lord.
We didn't get the highest grades in high school, so just FYI.
Technically never graduated high school, so let's not worry about it.
So anyways.
They didn't have phones when we went to high school either. So what we need somebody to do is, whoever's our one listener, is to tell us, can you hear us?
Can you hear us, first of all? This is like a T-Mobile commercial. Or Sprint or whatever. Can you hear me now?
You know, for some reason I can play it on YouTube, but it plays for 1 second and then it turns off. So I don't know.
Well, here, all
right. So now we have 2 people listening. Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Unfortunately, I can hear you. Yes!
We are crushing now. Wow. Can't stop us. All right, so
rash. Do we go back and explain to Mike that we feel bad talking bad about Kimberly because we feel that he is a respected gentleman and he could probably beat us up? Where we're not worried about Greg?
Yeah, so that was really the conversation we had, Mike. As soon as we heard that you were listening, we did have some remorse about how rude we are to Kimberly because, truth be told, we are jealous. I mean,
yeah, I am not remorseful of making fun of Kimberly. You recruit, you cheat, you do everything right to have a successful program. And I'm jealous, very jealous.
Very, very jealous because pretty good chance you might go to state, and we're jealous. Gosh dang it. So, right. But anyways, don't beat us up, please.
Oh, that's great. So we'll explain while Mike is listening. What happened, Mike, was I called Jeremy, so we were talking, and we were talking on speakerphone. And so when we were doing the YouTube, it was on the speakerphone. We are disasters.
Pretty much, yes. So,
yes.
You know, I'm trying to think about some of the things we talked about. We could go back and rehearse the story about the guy at the announcer. So, should I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the deal. During our Chippewa Falls game, we had a guy. You can go back and actually watch the live stream of the game. And I had as you'd mentioned, I had been going around the whole game trying to set the whole stadium up, get the markers at the corners, and we literally had to push the goals into the location. All this stuff that we're doing, crazy, getting ready for the game, and then I find out right before the game that we don't have an announcer, and so I'm like freaking out because I'm thinking of all the things that you have to say, about the WIA, and you use good sportsmanship and all these things, and I'm like, man, I got to go up there and do this. And I'm looking out at the girls, trying to read their numbers, and then trying to read, okay, that's person, butchering names. I mean, I killed some names out there. But anyways, I get through it. We do the national anthem, it goes off, and we're like, okay, it's done. So I'm going down to the sideline then because I got to coach. Well, on the live stream, I hear this guy come into the booth, and he's like, hey, who was the announcer? And the girl's like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, he left. He's like, well, it's way too loud in here. You can hear him on the thing say it's way too loud. And I'm thinking, when I watched the broadcast, like, what is this guy doing? Like, he must have been a fan or something coming in, and must have been thought it was too loud in the stadium. Well, turns out I found out yesterday that they said that it was a guy next door is actually coming into the stadium, apparently at every event, and complaining about the PA being too loud. And they actually had to send this guy a cease and desist letter that he can't come into the events because he's literally walking into the stadium during the events, going up into the booth unannounced and telling these people to stop, to turn down and apparently he's like messing with the control panels and like turning the volumes down. So it's this guy, it's just some random guy that we now have a legal like letter up to that he can't touch our equipment anymore.
That's so embarrassing.
Dude, it's pretty bad. Yeah.
Let It Rain 2026 Rash is Greg.
What?
Right? It's like,
how confusing is that?
Yeah, right? So we're making fun of Greg, not making fun of Mike Rash, and we're making fun of Greg to Greg. We're sorry.
Unbelievable. We can take Greg. We can take Greg, though. I think we can take Greg.
I think we can take Greg, too.
That is super confusing. So does Mike have like a Visa in his name then? What's going on over in Kimberly?
2026.
There's a lot of weird stuff going on in Kimberly.
Greg went to Nina. It all makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, by the way, I went down back at the new Nina school. 466,000 square feet under roof.
That's it, huh?
That's it. And I had to walk out back because the turf is in. I was checking out the football facility. And then behind that is the soccer complex where it's just soccer. Lights, stands, press box.
Really?
And you go past that to the softball and baseball diamonds. I mean, it is the real deal.
That's a pretty nice stadium to build to get beat in front of Kimberly.
Hey, Bayport beat them this year too. Sinners.
Oh, it's not good for Nina. That's awesome. Yeah. Good for them.
Yeah, it is amazing. But we'll get back to the week that was. We played Appleton North in a tight game. Bayport, we took the 1-0 loss. We had opportunities. We had really good opportunities. Goalie played well. And then last night we played Sheboygan North, had 2 own goals. Lost 3-1. We scored 3. They scored 1.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. So it is. It's something we got to erase. Now we'll go back to it. You are hoping to bring the Spash. What's your nickname?
Panthers.
Oh, that's UW Milwaukee. I was a Panther.
I know you were.
Yeah,
I know.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. So here's the deal. We didn't have a game all week, and it was driving me crazy. And so we had a JV game on Tuesday, JV only. And then we were supposed to have a game on Thursday against Rhinelander. And they backed out last minute, which was really frustrating. Yesterday, they actually backed out on Tuesday. And so last night I sent out a ton of emails. I literally went through every girls program in the state to see who was available and sent an email to everybody that didn't have a game between the 18th and the 25th. If they had a bridge there, like a gap, I sent them an email. So there are only two teams responded. One was Bayport. And so I was like, this would be kind of fun. We could get a Spash Bayport game. I was hoping it was Thursday night because we had a bus for Thursday night, but you guys were not able to do that. You can only do Friday. And so you guys were great. You agreed right away. AD Dylan Maney reached right back out and he's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get it on the schedule. But now we can't find a bus driver. So apparently finding a bus driver is a big challenge. We can't find a bus driver. So we're still trying, but if we can't find one by tomorrow, probably it's going to have to get canceled, unfortunately. But it would be great to actually come over and play Bayport. You guys got a great team, and it'd be a really big test for us. So,
well, it's just minutes, like soccer touches. They love saying touches.
Yep.
But it'd be great. It all adds up in the end. Nobody cares about anything until you get to the tournament. So, and that hair.
That's
we got
true.
to get some dubs. We got to get.
Well, we don't. We need to play better, a little bit easier teams to get those dubs.
There's a lot.
Oh, Toby.
There we go.
What did you say? A lot of people.
Eric. Oh, first of all, Eric says it says private. Does he need to log in?
No, he should. It's privacy's public on it. I see it right here.
Yeah.
But then again, we didn't know
right.
We don't know what we're doing.
Man.
So yeah, no, I we'll see if we can get it worked out. I'd love to get over there and play you guys. I'd feel terrible if we can't after you guys were gracious enough to say, yeah, let's put it on. But it is what it is. In today's world, finding bus drivers is one of the most difficult things. I mean, we struggle with all of our games, it seems like, to get people to drive us around. So, what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's too bad that it's come to that because that used to never be a case, right? I mean, it just was always.
Yep. Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully that's not the case. But Toby must be checking his messages again. Every time you check your messages, your audio goes out.
Oh, shoot. That's the only way I was texting with Eric Gephardt. He wants to join the live, and it says private, but.
Well, you mean as chat? Like, because I think we can only have one video.
Yeah. But
it's you and, yeah.
I don't know. But he can't even see it.
That's not right. That's weird.
All right. Let me, 1 second. I'll be back.
All right. Sounds good. So that's kind of the way what we've been up to this week. I mean, obviously, just some of the clubs that we follow had a really good week. Kimberly is number one in the state, still undefeated, knocking off some big teams and having some really good games. So it's nice to see that. I know there's a number of girls from the club on there as well, having a lot of success. Shout out to Emily. Emily Urban had her first goal. Saw that last night. That was really cool. So good for her. And I know we've still had a couple girls on North, correct, that are playing. I know a couple that aren't.
A couple of older ones that are from our club that are playing.
Yeah, I meant from our team, but I think we had. Isn't there any, or maybe not, because Claire's not playing because
Claire's in 8th grade.
Well, yeah, it's in 8th grade, so maybe we don't have any on. But the other one is Notre Dame. They're playing. They're doing really well still, right? And
yep.
Charlie's playing.
Seeing some minutes. There are a couple girls that came up for a cup of coffee on our team that are seeing some minutes. I think De Pere has quite a few girls from our club on their team. So our club is having some great success. Amelia scoring a lot of goals, probably the leading scorer amongst all the players from our team. I know Katie's seeing some minutes. So with Kimberly, that's a tough nut to crack, right? I mean, Emily, I think yeah.
Oh, Olivia scored for
Preble. Oh, nice.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see Preble. We get to play them. We get to play De Pere, Notre Dame. Spash.
Fingers crossed.
So it's that's the fun part. I will say high school is nothing like club. From the soccer standpoint, it's especially from our team, but it's fun to, you kind of get Macy's struggling. She's got quite a few minutes. She has to put the ball in the net. And I think that's hard on her because, when you score for the club and you're scoring quite a bit, then also you're not relying on, nobody's relying on you to put the ball in the net. You're a freshman, right? You're 14 and so I think that's an eye opener for some of these girls, just that you're playing against 18-year-olds. I mean,
yeah,
a couple of years ago, these girls could be buying smokes for crying out loud. Now they're playing against 14-year-olds. So it's eye opening.
Yeah, for sure. It is definitely an adjustment for these girls because, I mean, like from Amelia's perspective too. There's definitely adjustments when you're one of the younger kids, and before you're just one of the girls, and now you got to take a little bit different role for sure. And I know that's kind of the case for all these girls. They're freshmen, so they got to do what they're told and be quiet.
Can we say that? Right?
But I did have a question for you. This happened in our last game, our last varsity game against DC Everest, and I still don't know how I feel about it. So we were playing the game, and in DC Everest, as they subbed in 8 people at a time, we're subbing in, and all of a sudden we're playing, and we played for probably, I'd say 5 minutes, and all of a sudden they're like, wait a second, we got to stop the game. He stops the game. He's like, you guys have 12, and it was not us, them. They had been playing with 12 people for like 5 minutes. And we're like, well, what's the penalty? And he's like, no penalty. They just get to take person off. And I'm like, well, they were playing with 12 and he's like, well, there's no penalty. And we're like, there's got to be some penalty because otherwise let's just empty the bench and go in. Like,
right?
Why? But they insisted no penalty. There was no yellow card. There was no red card. There wasn't even a free kick. We didn't even get a free kick out of it. So I just would love to know if Jake is out there. I wanted to bring this up because I forgot to do it before. I would love to know if there's a penalty for having 12 people on the field, especially for an extended period of time.
Why don't Eric joined us? Let's see. Yellow card to the bench, he's saying. Well, so I'm with you. Just play a lot. Because in hockey, right, if you exit the bench before the player gets there, they can actually give you a 2-minute minor.
2 minute, yeah.
Yeah. So what Eric, our director of operations for our club, he's saying usually coach gets a yellow card. Well, that's like kissing your sister, right? It doesn't. Well, it means something, but it doesn't mean.
Not that we're advocating.
No. But at the end of the day, I'm with you. You should have to play with 10 for 2 minutes.
Or something. We were surprised, and we didn't really argue with them too much because, again, it doesn't do you any good to argue with the refs. They got a job to do, and it is what it is. But that was one really, we're like, really? There's no penalty at all? You just move on like it never happened? I'm like, we should start slipping a player in every now and then to see if we get caught. I mean, right? There's no penalty. Like, well, I don't know. Anyways, I was curious. So that's what we thought. There should be something, at least a yellow to the coach, or what we thought it should have been was a yellow to the 12th person, but maybe that's not correct either.
Yeah, because I know it probably goes to the coach, right? Because unless the kid just said to hell with it, I'm going for it, which would be a great idea. So in rugby, we had the sin bin, and if you had a bad foul, you had to go stand underneath the goalpost for like 2 minutes. And in lacrosse, you have to go kneel by the scorer's table for 2 minutes.
Okay.
So sports do have a penalty box besides hockey, but so Greg right away tried against Big
Yeah.
What? No, that's something we're going to try against Kimberly.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, what if you had 4 coaches? Just give it to the 4th coach. Just be like, hey, Jeremy, you got a yellow.
Take one for the team. All right. Yeah, I don't know. It was just it was really odd. We were very surprised that that's what the call was, but yeah, no penalty. So there you go, everybody. You can slip an extra player in.
By the way, if you yell at the ref too, the ref's gonna quit. So you can't even do that.
Yeah.
Just yell at the guy from across the street that's turning the volume down. Just scream at him.
I think next time we have a home game at Gerke, we should just crank it up. I mean, just twist the knife a little.
Like Iron Maiden, like play some heavy duty rock. But the problem is, okay, so you're let's say you're sitting there, right? You're doing your job, you're announcing, and here comes, Fast Eddie Felton. He's walking across the street, and you're like literally, do I have to call the cops? Like,
I guess so. At this point, that's what it seems like. I don't know. We'll find out. I will definitely follow up with you because, like I said, we had to send a cease and desist letter to him. Like he couldn't set foot on the premise and couldn't touch the equipment and whatever. So, like, yeah, it just amazes me. Like that stadium has been there since the 1930s. You know what you're getting into when you buy a house next to a stadium. There's 4 football teams that play there. There's soccer teams. There's 2 track teams. Actually, there's 4 track teams because there's girls, boys from Pacelli. Actually, there's 6 track teams. There's a wealth of that stadium is constantly bustling. Like the fact that he is upset about some noise. It's like, dude, you moved next to a community stadium. What do you expect?
Yeah. He's the guy at the end of the runway that just moved in screaming at the airplanes.
So anyways, good for him. I'm sure it gives him something to do. He's probably lonely as all heck. I shouldn't make fun of him.
Maybe you should get him a job there. Maybe you could make him headlines guy or something. Charge of the cones.
There you go.
Just angry old man, just putting cones up every day. Just, I hate kids.
We should put him at the gate for the tickets. That's probably where it should.
Nobody gets in for free.
No. If you're going to disrupt my life, you're going to pay for it.
Oh, and I brought that up in our mistake before, but like I said, we went down to Sheboygan. It was $5 to get in. And I hear you're charging $4.
Hey.
This is highway robbery. If they built the thing in the 30s, why are we still paying for it? Who's in charge of the finances over there?
Well, what we're paying for is the $1 million+ renovations that just got done to it for the turf and the scoreboard and the jumbotron and
building it on the backs of the little guy. What are you, the Green Bay Packers?
Not yet. We can all dream. Yeah, so sorry about that. We don't all have kind of the Bayport money that you guys have.
It's called referendums.
No.
I think we're working
on that yet
at the same time.
In fact, if you want to know the truth, our district has a $4 million shortfall right now. So,
well, that's better than Green Bay. Green Bay is like $7 trillion in the hole.
That's because, yeah. Anyways, so
we'll move on.
Yeah, we'll move on. Getting too political.
Yeah. I wonder if Kim was broke. Else? I doubt it.
What else? No, they're not broke. They got deep pocket Visa over there.
Right. Just writing checks, cashing checks, and breaking necks.
So what else did we talk about when we were on a phone call with each other and nobody could hear us?
Well, Eric just said he doesn't know if Eric doesn't know if that's the exact rule, but that's what he's seen. So again, soccer is very subjective to who's running it.
Interesting.
It's like offsides. Offsides is just some guy sprinting down with a flag, and then he throws it up, and they're like, I don't think that was offside. He's like, oh yeah, no, it was. Sure it was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyways, that was the only ref thing I thought of recently. We haven't had anything real interesting happen ref wise.
Did you see that wrestling match down in Chicago? I think they were 8th graders or young kid, like freshmen or something. And
no, but I heard about it.
He got beat, and they go to shake hands, and he just lands one in the guy's nose, and the winner goes down. It was bad, like really bad.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
Like he got beat, right? I mean, he just got beat. and he just threw a sucker punch second to none. So I don't know what you do with a kid like that.
And you said it's 8th grade?
I thought it was that young.
Man, there's got to be something for that. But still, that's for. I mean, think about what has that kid been taught? That's terrible.
Right?
Huh.
Right here, wrestler punches opponent. This could be Oak Park police investigate viral punching youth wrestler. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, he's a
Yeah,
young kid. He made a bad mistake. I mean, that's part of it. But still, that's like, come on, dude.
it was
I mean, it's
14-2. The final score was 14-2.
it's not
I
like
don't know
he was
much
even in
about
the game or the
right.
match.
Yeah, it wasn't like the guy snuck one out of the state championship. I mean, he just got his butt whipped. And now they like somebody wants to give him a lifetime suspension. I'm like, well, how do you do that?
No, I don't know about that. I mean, listen, did he make a bad mistake? Yeah, definitely. He totally made a bad mistake, but I don't think you should. I mean, he's a young kid still. He can still come back from that and still be a decent human being.
Oh, I say you throw him in jail for 30 years. And his
I
mom.
mean, he's not off to a good start right now, but
Right.
but he
He's 0
could
for
come
1.
back.
Yeah.
He could come back. I don't know. That's too bad.
Yeah, that's it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Huh.
But who knows the backstory, right? Probably somebody behind him just screaming, and he's like, oh, now I got to deal with everything. Punch a kid and go to jail. He ain't going to jail either, right?
Well, he probably. I mean, I shouldn't speculate, but yeah, maybe he's got a dad that's like he knows if he doesn't like try to save some face, that dad's gonna just take it to him, like ream him over the coals or something. I don't know.
I mean, I took a semester of law class at University of Wisconsin Milwaukee, so I think it's a juvenile. He's going to be okay.
Yeah, he's
But
gonna be okay. I don't think you can take him to prison at 12,
right.
and you definitely can't put him in prison for 30 years.
That was a little harsh.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. What else do we talk about before? I can't remember.
Talked about my day on the chain gang, but we'll save that for a different story.
No, you should share that. And again, that was a good story. That's for sure. You should share the chain gang story.
How did we get on the topic? We were talking about, you were setting up the field by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I broke into the story that years ago when the Green Bay got a first indoor football team, the Blizzard. I think they were called something else at the time, but I was saying they were looking for coaches, and I thought I would be a great representative to help out. So I was kind of trying to figure it out. And my buddy who coached, he played at University of Kansas, and then he coached at St. Norbert, was asked to coach. And I'm like, all right, here we go. My time to shine. So I call my buddy and I'm like, hey, whatever I need to do, I want in. So I'm thinking they're going to make me, pretty much the head announcer or vice president or something. I mean, I graduated college, so I was pretty much destined for greatness. But I got the call, and I go in a meeting, and they tell me that I'm in charge of the chain gang, and I didn't know what that meant. But I had to find 3 buddies, so I found 3 buddies, 3 suckers, and we get there, and they give us T-shirts, and they were smaller than they should have been, but they were T-shirts, and in the indoor game, you on the field, so you have to hustle, and I think it's 80 yards or 60 yards long. I forget, but it was a lot of
Yeah.
running.
Something like that.
And it's 10 yards. So you have to hustle and you got to move them, and then you got to get back because you got to run all the way back to the end zone to get out of the play. So if there's an interception, they come at you and you're in trouble because these guys are just trying to make whatever dollar they're making. I don't know. So they're looking to kill each other.
Oh, for sure.
So first game, the chain gets all tangled and it's in a ball, and the referee's screaming at us, and we're trying to get it undone, and the clock has got to stop. The coaches are pissed off because they were going at some high pace, whatever. And then you had to throw a little beanbag over that was attached to the first down and marker, so it would stay up. You throw the beanbag over the board, and there was a guy sitting first row that had I watched him, and he threw the beanbag back, and the thing fell down, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" So I run over there and I tell him, I'm like, "Hey, no more." So I put it up, does it again. So I go into a laced profanity laced speech about how I will like tear him limb from limb. And he's screaming at me, and the ref's screaming at me, and I'm screaming at everybody. And it was complete mayhem, and it wasn't a job for me. But I felt they needed me. So they did give us a little room for the chain gang. So we had a room and they had water in it for us. So we'd go there at halftime. We'd be like, all right, we never talked about what we did. Nobody cared. But we were tired. So we just sat. And then one game, the refs came in and said, we need your room. And we told them to pound sand. This is the chain gang room. And then the brass came down from the head office and they said, get the hell out. So we ended up in another room with the mascot. And then it was mascot night. They've had all these mascots there, and I'm chirping at how they don't do their job very well, and they're all drenched in sweat because they're running around being all mascotty.
And you're antagonizing the mascots,
right? They got their hats off, and I'm like staring at dudes, and I'm like, dude, you guys aren't, dude. Like, come on, like, how hard is it to be an eagle, right? You run around, you wow, and I piss off like 14 mascots, and then. So then I got us kicked out of that room. So now we didn't have a room. So we had to stand on the field at halftime and stand there. Nobody gave us hot dogs, nothing. And I had a wedding during one of the games that I had to miss. So I flew to Colorado for a wedding. And they call me, and I'm in Colorado. And they're like, where's the T-shirt? And I'm like, what T-shirt are you talking about? They're like, the Chain Gang T-shirt, and it literally said Green Bay Blizzard. Like it was like from the gift shop. Like it was a piece of junk. And they were screaming at me. They needed that Chain Gang T-shirt back because there was only like one. And I'm like, what happened to the other 8? So I had to have my mom go get the chain, and then I quit. And I told them they could keep their T-shirt, and I never saw a dime. I don't know if I was supposed to get paid, but I was so disappointed that they didn't see my worth and give me a real job that they like. And maybe it was a building moment. Maybe they were going to give me the chain gang first and then presidency later, but it never panned out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty disappointing.
It really is. I mean, and I think that's where my hatred towards reffing came from, because the ref was in my ear yelling at me, and I just never got over that.
I could see why.
And that led to that game where I said something to the ref, and then he told me what I like to watch from the car.
Oh, so you want to know a fun story about the Blizzard? Did you ever go to the games back when Brian Noble was the coach?
So they had a coach early on, and then Noble bought him, I think.
And he was a coach then for.
Yeah. So my buddy, when my buddy was coaching, they actually won it all. They flew to Hawaii for a game. So my buddy got a free ride to Hawaii with the team.
That's a good deal.
They didn't take the chain gang. But then Noble bought him, and I think Ahman Green took some ownership, and I don't know who owns them now.
Yeah, I think you're correct. Are they still around?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. So fun story. There was a period where I was playing. Let's see. This was before I played semi-pro ball. Actually, I just got done with college, and the Blizzard had just started, and they had a tryout, and I had to drive down to Milwaukee for the tryout. So I drove down to Milwaukee, show up. There's probably 50 guys, something along those lines, and we do our 40 times. It's like tryouts are kind of weird. You have to do like certain types of workout, like benching, and then you do it's almost like a mini combine. You do your 40 time, and then you play football for a little bit. But this is in like some, I don't know. It's probably not even a place that we would play soccer in, because it wasn't very nice. But it was, it was an indoor facility, that it was bad enough that when we went deep one time, I still remember, I ran a post route. I go deep. I'm thinking I'm wide open. This guy's going to hit me in the seam. I'm going to make a big play, and I'm going to make this damn team. And it hit the light, and I was like, "Are you?" And he like really hit the light. So I didn't even get to make that. But the one part that was really awesome is I did run my 40. And Brian Noble, when I was a kid, I looked up to Brian Noble. I thought he was awesome. I had his football card, and I thought and he walked past me, and he's like, "Hey, kid, that was a good time." And I was like, Brian Noble just told me I had a good 40. I'm like, I was on cloud nine. I didn't get called back for for anything. I didn't care. Brian Noble told me. He told me number 91 told me I had a good 40 time. That's all I needed. It was a good time.
Thanks. I tried out for the New York Mets.
Did you?
So, yeah. I'll be honest. So in the summer they used to. I don't know if they still do it, but the pros would send scouts to different cities, and I know the Brewers would come to Green Bay quite a bit, and you could just go try out. I don't know if they charge or not, but we went up to Sturgeon Bay, me and some high school buddies, and the Mets were in town, and they were looking for talent. I'm like, well, you got to be looking for me. So it's gonna rain, and the only portion they didn't hit, we didn't throw, we just ran, like we did the 40 time. So I'm like, this is not my strong point, but I'm still gonna get after it. So I end up racing the fastest kid in the camp, and they say go,
of course,
and this kid gets done, and I'm still elbows and a-holes trying to figure this out. They were talking to the kid. I hadn't even finished yet, and they were talking to this kid about his speed, and I am like, whoa! Like I'm like, all right, what do we do? And they're like, sorry, son, not your day. And I'm like, really? I'm like, God, I'm really working on that. It's like, yeah, no, you're not what we're looking for.
You're like the guy from Invincible where he's like that big dude. They just down.
But I'm like, wait till you see me hit. I can get him in the outfield. So we loaded up the old car and came home.
You tried though.
I did. I tell my kids I tried out for the New York Mets, so they don't need to know any more than that.
That's all they need to know. Now, did you get to hit at all? Did you rake a little bit for them?
It started raining.
Wow.
Throwing was my strong point. I could accurately throw a baseball. So I didn't have a lot of expectations coming out of there. I knew I was in New York. The Mets were good. I was thinking more of the Phillies.
Is this like right after Dale Strawberry type time, or?
This would have been 94, 93, 94, back in the summer of love back then. Yeah. I don't even know if they still do that, because I remember there was a kid out of Green Bay that came to Green Bay, and he hit like 4 home runs out of 10 pitches, and they didn't even talk to him.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, 4 home runs? That would have been amazing.
He didn't like his swing, apparently.
Yeah. So, but the guy did tell me, and I remember this guy I told my kid yesterday, if you want to get faster, run downhill.
It does help.
Because you don't have a choice, right? Your legs have to move. Otherwise you fall. So I gave my daughter a speech the other day. I'm like, you want to get faster, run downhill. She's like, what does that mean? I'm like, just try it.
You know what you do? You go. Have you ever been to the Great Bear Sand Dunes in Michigan?
Yeah. Well, not those, but I've been to like sand dunes. Yeah.
Or the Warren Dunes down in southern Michigan. I'm not joking. Go up to the top of those things, and then you run down as fast as you can. Because if you eat it, you just eat it into sand. You don't get hurt. But if you have to, your legs got to move to go full speed down those things. I mean, it's legitimate. So there you go. And then she can't get hurt. I mean, she can, but
I might bring this body back. I might head over, start ripping down mountains.
It's a good time. The only problem is when you run down, like it's Great Sand Bear Dunes, you got to walk back up. They don't have any option of at Warren Dunes, you climb up and then you run down and you're at the parking lot. At Great Sand Bear Dunes, if you run down, you got to walk all the way back up. And there's a sign at the top that says, if you don't make it back up and we have to come and get you, because there's like no way out down there, you have to walk back up. It's like 5K.
You get rescued?
Yeah. So you go down, you better get your butt back up.
That is horrible. I'm not going
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. It's probably not
No.
for everybody.
And I'm not spending $5K, so I would rather die.
Greg could probably do it. He could probably run down.
Mike Rash could.
For sure. I still can't get over that he's got his name. He's got his name in his handle. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I bet it's that because I think Mike Rash coached the team. So if they were passing home. But why does Greg have the password to Mike's YouTube channel?
I don't know. Something's fishy here. There's more to this story that we got to find out. Maybe off camera.
I wonder if we would have made this right away. We might have been at 4 or 5 people. I think we could have got to 5.
I think we could have got to 5. We had 4 when we didn't even have sound.
I still think those people from Ireland were checking in.
Probably.
It's past people's bedtime. What time is it?
Yeah, it's late. We should go to bed.
Yeah,
I know.
41 minutes.
That's why you keep yawning.
We've done 2 podcasts tonight. We've done 3 podcasts tonight.
We have done 3. We are not good at this. So, Greg, we love you. Thank you for tuning in. Joe Shear didn't turn back in. Not a big fan.
Eric and Eric will be on the show. He's our director. He's got a lot of insight into how things work.
And we'll do a real show for Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Kimberly DePere tomorrow night. I'm not going to pick a side because I think it's going to be a -1 loss for both. So
somehow they'll both lose.
But that should be a good game. But it's supposed to rain, so I doubt they'll even happen. I think that one will be postponed for another day, and hopefully things work out from Smash, and we'll see you Friday nights. If not, we'll have to regroup.
Yeah, I will say this. If we can make it over, we will definitely live stream that. We'll get it set up so that can get done. But appreciate everybody tuning in for this disaster. And thanks for sticking through and watching it. We'll get this thing up onto the podcast as well so people can listen to the craziness.
Yeah, awesome. Well, you have yourself a good night. Now we can go on our own.
Sounds good, man. Take care.
All right, buddy. Bye.
Bye.